I'll show you how to download and install MT4 or MT5 for your desktop and mobile devices. This platform is one of the world's most popular Forex trading platform out there. So I will be showing you how to install this platform, and I'll also show you how to set up a demo account with various brokers. So let's get started. The first thing you want to do is visit MetaTrader4.com. And right on the home page, we have several links. We have the links for the MetaTrader 5 and the links below. So we have for your PC, Mac, iPhone, and Android. And next to it, if you prefer using the MetaTrader 4, then we also have the same links available there as well. So for this entire course, I will be using MetaTrader 5. So I'll go ahead and download the link for my PC computer. So that after clicking on that link, it opens up the MT5 setup.exe, and I'll go ahead and save that to my computer. Once the file has been saved, I'll just run the installation. And I'll just hit finish. And then this is what the default setup looks like. Okay, so initially we have the terminal open. I can just go ahead and press Control T to go ahead and close that. And I'll just organize these charts a little bit by pressing on this button here. Now, some of you might not have the exact same layout as I do here. That's okay. I will be explaining how to customize the layouts, the charts, use the tools, and everything like that in the lessons upcoming. Now, once we have the trading software installed, the next step is to go ahead and open up a demo account. So we want to go up to File, Open an Account, and then we want to type in our desired broker. So for this lecture, I'll type in FXDD, and I'll just select the demo, and I'll go ahead and hit Next. Open a demo, just fill in these parameters here. Put in a phone number there, and I'll select leverage 1 to 100. That's fine. Initial deposit, I'll select 5,000, and I'll just go ahead and agree to the newsletter and just hit next. And if you like, you can go ahead and you can save your login information. So that's your username here, and then you have your password. Just go ahead and hit finish. And now we can see that we are connected to the server because we're starting to see some flashing lights happen here. We're starting to see the prices adjusting in the market watch. And so I'll just go ahead and click and remove the terminal by pressing Control T. So now that we have the demo account set up, some of you might also have a different broker that you want to install. So sometimes, for example, if you open an account and say, for example, you were to type in Oanda, and if Oanda does not appear in the list below, you might actually have to visit Oanda's website and go through the process of creating a demo account with them and then downloading their MT4 platform straight from their website. Okay. Now, for those of you using Macintosh at home and would like to download the Macintosh version, you just have to go back over to MetaTrader4.com and then just click on the Mac link here, and this will actually give you the instructions on how to install Play on Mac, and then you're able to run the .exe file on a Mac computer. So you have the instructions right on this website here. And if you're interested in downloading the app for your iPhone or your Android device, those links are also available on the website. So I'm not going to go ahead and show you how to install them, but I'll just show you that the links are available. It's pretty straightforward. Just go over to the iTunes store and you can download the apps and run the installation as so. And so that pretty much sums up the lesson for installing MT4 and setting up a demo account. In the next lecture, I'll show you how to decide on a broker. In this lecture, I'll show you how to decide on a broker. What I want you to do is visit bestonlineforexbrokers.com. So if you could just go to that website for me. And then in the left column, click on top rated Forex brokers. And here it will list off a whole bunch of brokers from all over the world, and it'll give them a rating. Okay, but just because there's a rating on this website doesn't mean they are the best. Okay, and this is part of your own responsibility to do your own due diligence and find out if these brokers are best for you and if they meet your specific requirements. So I put together a list of some questions that you might want to ask yourself or ask the broker when making a decision. So the first one is, how long have they been in business? Right? So this is actually a very important question because we want to know how much experience they've had in the market. We want to know if they have the latest software, just overall, the longer they've been in business, typically the more experienced they are and the better off they'll be at providing services, leverage, commissions, etc., and stuff like that. So how do we decide on how long if they've been in business? Well, there's actually a website here. It's called whois.com. So if you go to whois.com/whois, you're able to type in a domain name. So if I type in FXCM and we search them, we see that the website was registered in 1999. So that's quite a while ago. Now if we were to type in, say, hotforex.com, for example, we see that they were just registered in 2007. Okay, so, and we could type in a whole bunch of different brokers here, fxdd.com, so they were registered in 2002. But this is a great website for determining how long they've been in business. Another question that's extremely important is to understand if they are fully regulated. Okay, because this industry, unfortunately, there's a lot of fraud and scams, and so you definitely want to make sure that they are fully regulated. Here in Canada, the regulatory body is IROC and the Ontario Securities Commission, and in the United States, it's the Securities Exchange Commission. So you want to make sure that the brokers are fully regulated and registered. The next question that I have is, what are their commissions? So you want to make sure that when you're executing a trade that you're not paying heavy fees for executing the trade. You want to make sure that the commissions are low. And the commissions, another word for the commissions is spreads in Forex trading. So you want to make sure that they have tight spreads, low spreads. You also want to make sure that they're offering the MT4 or MT5 trading platform as a trading option with their broker. What are their funding methods? So if you're interested in funding your account using your credit card, you want to make sure that they offer that payment method. Do they offer leverage? Leverage is important, especially when it comes to Forex trading. I don't recommend going with heavy leverage. It's not necessary, but I think a maximum of 200 to 1 leverage should be something that you're looking for. And lastly, you want to make sure that they have reviews. You want to make sure that they have reviews. You want to see what other customers in the past have said about them. And a great website for finding out some real authentic reviews is going over to forexpeacearmy.com. And if you go over to forexpeacearmy.com, you can search for any sort of broker on here. You could type up FXCM. We can see FXCM's reviews, and we can get an overall feel of what other customers have said about them in the past. So this is all part of doing your own due diligence. Okay, so I hope this lecture helps you to decide on a broker. And once you've decided on the broker, sometimes, as I mentioned in the past, you're not able to connect them this way. So if you were to open up an account and say you decided on Hot Forex and Hot Forex is not available here, then you would have to go to hotforex.com and you would have to open up an account with them. So you click on the open a demo account and just make sure that you're able to use the MT4 or MT5 trading software. So you'll have to download their actual MT4, MT5 software from their website. In the next lecture, I'll show you how to set up the MT4. I'll give you the whole initial setup. Now that we have the trading software installed and we've decided on a broker, the next step is for us to start customizing our layouts so it's easier for us to trade in the future and prevent ourselves from making mistakes. So if you have the navigator widget open in the left column, you can go ahead and click on that X to close it down. And then in the Market Watch section, what you want to do is right click and then select Show All. And this will open up all of your trading symbols. Now if you find you're trading one of these pairs more often than others, what you might want to do is go ahead and select that pair and just move it up to the top so it's very easy for you to access at a later date. Now if you don't have the Market Watch widget available in the left column, what you can do is you can, underneath View, you can just select Market Watch, and there you also see the keyboard shortcuts. So if you press Control M, that'll open up the Market Watch for you. Now what I like to do is start customizing our charts so they're easier to read. So what I'll do is just go ahead and close down 3 of them, and then with the one open, I'll right click on it, go down to Properties, and then select Colors, and in the color scheme, I'll select black on white, and then for the bar up, I'll just go ahead and select the blue as well as the bull candle. And for bar down, I'll go ahead and select a red as well as the bear candle. And then hit OK. Now if you have any indicators on the screen, you want to go ahead and delete them. So just delete those Bollinger Bands there, and also just go down and right click and click on the indicators list, and then just delete these indicators as well, and then I'll just go ahead and hit close. Now if you don't have this nice white space off to the right, what you can do is you can just go ahead and click on the shift end of the chart, and that will go ahead and add some nice white space for you, so in a later date if you need to draw in some trend lines and map out some trading scenarios, that gives you the option for doing so. Now we are looking at Aussie CAD on a 1 hour time frame. That's what the H1 represents. If we wanted to switch this time frame over to a 5 minute, then this is how we would do so. Now if you don't see the time frames available in the top, then what you want to do is just right click in this particular area and then just make sure that the time frames is selected. So I can just go ahead and add and remove the time frames as I need to. Now that we have our default template set up, what you want to do is just right click and just save the template as default. I'll just overwrite that. And now what this does is anytime you select, click and drag one of the pairs in the left column out into the main area, it will automatically load up the default theme. So I'll just go ahead and grab 4 pairs, and then I'll just click on this button here, and that will nice and neatly organize all of my charts. So that's it for this lecture. This pretty much sums up the initial MT4 setup. In the next lecture, I'll show you how to customize more templates and profiles. In this lecture, I'll show you why you might want to use multiple profiles and multiple templates. Now, what you're looking at right now is a default profile. And what I mean by that is if we go over to Profile and then click on Profiles and then click on British Pound, we see that the charts are now different. So we have this is the British Pound versus the US dollar on multiple time frames. So here we have the daily, the 30-minute, the 4-hour, and the 1-hour. But this profile we might consider having British Pound crosses. So we might include Pound Swiss franc, and we might include Pound Japanese yen, and so on. Okay, so I'll just switch back over to the default profile, and this is the profile that we were originally looking at. Now, you might want to have your default profile set up that includes all of the major pairs that you mostly trade. For example, if you find you're trading Euro CAD, New Zealand USD, CAD Yen, USD Yen, you might want to include all of these charts on your screen, and then you can go ahead and just hit this button to arrange the charts. The advantage of having it set up this way allows you to spot trends and patterns that are starting to present themselves with trading opportunities. For example, if we're starting to look at USD Yen and we're noticing that it was having a difficult time breaking above the 114 handle, and we are starting to see some bearish momentum starting to accelerate towards the downside, we might consider switching from the default profile over to a USD Yen profile. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and create a USD Yen profile, and I'll start by clicking on the British Pound, and I'll just close these down here, and I'll just load USD Yen. What I'm doing here is loading USD Yen multiple times because I want to look at USD Yen on multiple time frames. So in the top left, I'll have it set for a 5-minute time frame. Next to it, I'll have a 15. Then I'll look at it in a 1 hour, and then I'll also look at it on a daily. The reason I want to look at it on a daily is because the daily is the pattern and the time frame that gives me the overall feel for what's happening with the particular pair. Looking at this pair on a smaller time frame, we might be missing out on the big picture, which might also give us more risk exposure. For example, if we're looking at USD Yen on the 5-minute and we're noticing that we're starting to see some bearish momentum accelerating to the downside, but on the larger scale, the trend is actually pointing more in an upwards pattern formation. So getting into a short position with USD Yen might not be the best trading decision, only because our downside target might be limited. Now let's switch back over to our default profile. Because also on our default profile, we also would like to set up multiple templates. For example, if we're taking a look at New Zealand USD on a 5-minute, and say we were to draw in this trend line on New Zealand USD, after noticing the recent upswing with this particular pair, we might consider switching over to our New Zealand USD profile. So what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and switch back over to the British Pound, and this time what I'll do is I'll go ahead and save this as New Zealand USD, and then I'll just switch over all of these charts to New Zealand USD pairs. Just like that. Now the problem is that we spotted that rising trend on our default profile, and we drew in this nice trend line. However, the trend line was not able to transition over to our profiles page. So for that to happen, what you need to do is right click and save this as a new template. And this time you'll save it as the New Zealand USD template. So then that way, when we go over to our New Zealand USD profile, I can load up our New Zealand USD template. And that will give us our nice trend line that we drew in. And this way we're also able to see that trend line on multiple time frames. So then that way it will give us a better perspective of what's happening overall. So that's it for this lecture. That sums up templates and profiles. In the next lecture, I'll show you some tips, tricks, and some keyboard shortcuts. Hello traders, welcome back. I hope you're having a good time so far. In this lecture, I'll show you some tips and tricks and some keyboard shortcuts to make your trading experience a lot easier. Alright, so if you just go over to financialmarkets.academy, this is our website here, And if you just underneath the resources, we have keyboard shortcuts. And these keyboard shortcuts, I highly recommend you master them. It will make trading just a lot easier every single day, coming in and making some trades. For example, F9 is to open up a new order, so I'll just show you that. So if I just press F9, new order. Simple as that. Let's see what else we have here. Control F, enable crosshairs. So I'll just press Control F, there we go. So nice and easily get access to the crosshairs, which is this tool here. So, you know, instead of having to go up to the toolbar and click on it, you can just press Control F, and there we go. Okay. What else do we have here? Show grid. Show and hide the grid. So Control G. So that's great. So, you know, sometimes we would just like to view the charts without the grid. So it's just a lot cleaner that way. So I highly recommend you guys take your time to become very familiar with all of these keyboard shortcuts. It will make your trading experience just a lot easier. The next thing I want to show you is just how to simply zoom in and zoom out of these charts. You can just press the plus sign or the minus sign on your keyboard, and that will allow you to zoom in and zoom out very easily instead of having to go up to the top and press, you know, plus, minus. So hopefully that helps. And also sometimes if you're looking at this pair on a larger time frame, say for example we're looking at it on a 1 hour, and we wanted to know what exactly happened here with this gap. So, you know, it's hard to spot this, or, you know, if we're doing some back testing or some simulations, it's hard to know exactly what that looked like on a smaller time frame. So in order to get to that particular point, what you would do is just go to Insert, Objects, and we can just insert a shape here. So we just highlight this particular area like that. Then if we go down to our smaller time frames, and we can now go back in time, and we can spot exactly where that is. So there it is. So that's pretty good tool to have for back testing, or if we were to put in some sort of notes here as well. So just go ahead and type in a note. So if this gap lower was, let's just say it was a Sunday gap, just go ahead and copy and paste that in both of the name and the description. So, you know, we have this Sunday gap. There's our little note there which explains what exactly happened. Okay. And lastly, I just wanted to show you how to get access to your trade history. So if you just press Control T, that will open up your trading terminal, and you can just click on the history in the bottom, on the bottom tab, and this will show you your trades. Right now we don't see any trades available because I just opened up this demo. So what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and execute a few trades. So I'll just execute that, just go back over to the trade tab, and I'll just go ahead and close it. And the initial disclaimer will always appear, so you just want to go ahead and accept that. That's for if you're closing out the trade by clicking on this X. So now if we go down to the history, we see that we have some trades here, or just one trade. And if I just right click, and I can select view all history, and then afterwards I can just go to reports, and I can open up the report in HTML browser. So I'll just save this to my desktop, and so as it's saving, and it will ask me if I want to open it up in Microsoft Explorer, and there we go. And then now I'm able to see my trade history. It gives me my name, the broker, my orders. It will also show me lots of information down below, such as consecutive wins, consecutive losses. So this is a great feature to have for analyzing your own trades, seeing what you're doing wrong, what you're doing well, and so on. All right, so that's it for this lecture. In the next lecture, I'll show you how to execute trades, how to open trades and close trades. Lecture, I'll show you how to place some orders. I'll show you how to place some pendings, include some stop losses, and some take profits. Now, we all understand the concept of buying low and selling high. But did you know you can also sell high and buy low? This concept relates to what's called short selling, or also known as taking on short positions or going short. To short sell, it's very easy. All you need to do is select a pair. So I'll just go ahead and select USD yen, and I'll just open up the one-click trading panel, and I'll just hit sell. Now, as this pair continues to fall, I'll make a profit. So I'll just go ahead and open up my trading terminal so you can see that right now, because this pair is continuing to climb, I'm starting to lose on the trade. But what I can do is click on this green line here and just drag it towards the downside, and I'll just let go of my mouse. And what I just did there was placed a take profit, and that's what the TP represents. So if I hover over this red dotted line, you'll see if price falls down to this level, I'll make a profit of $46.59. So essentially in trading, it doesn't matter whether the market's going up or down, as long as I'm correct in the direction that I'm trading. Now, because I am in a short selling position, and if this pair continues to climb, I'll be sitting in a bigger loss. So what I would like to do is go ahead and put in a stop loss. So in order to do that, all you need to do is click on this green dotted line and just drag it up and let go of the mouse. There we go. So if price hits this level here, I'll lose $70, $70.24 US. The great thing about adding in a stop loss or a take profit is it allows me not to watch the charts. I can simply set the stop loss and the take profit and walk away. And if price continues to rise and hits one of either the take profit or the stop loss, the software will automatically close the position. Even if the software is turned off, it will still close the position. Now that's one way of short selling. So what I'll do here is I'll just go ahead and close that. And the other way you can go about placing a trade is simply by clicking on the new order button at the top, and then you can either hit buy or sell. You can do an instant market execution, or you can also do a pending. Now when it comes to pending orders, there are 4 different types of pendings. And I made some diagrams to help illustrate what each of them represent and how you can best use each of them. So let's go ahead and take a look at these illustrations. So we have sell stops and buy stops, and we also have buy limits and sell limits. So let's start by taking a look at sell stops and buy stops. So a sell stop is when the market is heading in a bearish trend, or the market is heading downwards, and you're looking to sell into the trend. So you're expecting momentum to pick up, and if it hits this level here, you want to sell into the trend. So that's why you would place a sell stop. A buy stop is just the opposite of a sell stop on the upside. So if price is rising, or if momentum's starting to pick up, or if there's any sort of breakout happen, then you want to place a buy stop, expecting that the price will continue in an upward trend. Now, a buy limit and a sell limit is when you're expecting a bounce. Okay, so if price is selling off and it's coming down to a significant level where you're expecting traders to start locking in some profits and you're expecting a bounce, that's where you would anticipate placing a buy limit. And a sell limit is just the opposite of a buy limit. So if price is rising to a significant high, so say for example the S&P is hitting an all-time high, you might consider putting in a sell limit at that particular point. Now let me just go ahead and give you some practical examples of sell stops, buy limits, and sell limits. So let's see. let's say we are expecting price to continue this downward trend. And so if price is able to make a lower low than this wick, we want to get into a sell stop. So the sell stop is we're anticipating price to continue much lower if it breaks below this wick. That's just an example. So what we would do is go ahead and hit new order, and I'll go ahead and select pending order, and this will be a sell stop, and the price will be 113.78. I'll go ahead and hit place. Actually, I'll just move this up a little bit. There we go. So now if price hits this level, then we will get into a sell position targeting further lows to the downside. So as it continues to weaken, we will be making a profit. That is a sell stop. Now a sell limit would be if price is able to climb up to this declining level of resistance and we're expecting a bounce. That's where we would put in the sell stop. Sorry, the sell limit. Okay. So I'll just go ahead and delete that and just give you an example. So pending sell limit with this trade, and the price will be 113.88, and I'll just go ahead and hit place. Now you can always tell if you're putting in the correct pending, because say for example this is what you were anticipating and this is what your intentions were. Just go ahead and delete that. If I were to put in a say sell stop at that level, the system won't let me. So I'll just show you that example. So if I were to put in that 113.88, see, it won't let me put in that order at that level. It's because it needs to be a sell limit. Okay, and so now what I'll do is just place another trade here. This time I'll just put in an instant market execution, and you can also manually enter in your stop loss and your take profit here. But what I'll do is, so I'm just going to put in a new order here. Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, so there it goes. It went through, and so you can either drag the take profit down towards the downside, or the other way of doing this is just to click on the trade in the terminal and then just hit modify order, and then you can just manually enter in your take profit and stop loss. So take profit for this example will be 113.72 and stop loss will be 114. There we go. So we have stop loss above, take profit down below. Okay, so that sums up for this lecture. In the next lesson, I'll explain volume, lot sizes, margin, and leverage. In this lecture, I'll explain volume, lot sizes, margin, and leverage. Now, the first thing, you're probably noticing that I'm holding on to a few positions and they're in profit right now. And those are some trades that I made just before going to bed last night. So right now, we're looking at about a $603 gain. And in comparison to my account, that's pretty good because my account is only just over 5,000. So basically, I turned over about 10% while I was sleeping. And for most investors out there, if they make 10% in 12 months, they would be fairly happy with that. But I just made 10% in 12 hours. Now, a lot of you are probably wondering, how exactly did I do that? And I was able to do that with what's called leverage. Now, most brokers offer leverage. Some of them offer a lot more than others. Some of them offer 50 to 1. So 50 to 1 means for every dollar that I put in, they'll match it 50 times. And there are some brokers out there that will offer anywhere up to 1,000 to 1. Okay, I don't recommend going with those brokers. You don't need anything more than 200 to 1. And in fact, even 50 to 1 is great. Now, let me explain a little bit more what leverage is. When it comes to trading, you need to enter a volume, the lot sizes. So when you place a new order and the volume is 1.00, that's equivalent to $100,000. Now, we obviously don't have $100,000 to trade here, and that's where the leverage comes in. Okay, so if I wanted to trade $100,000 with leverage of 50 to 1, I would need $2,000 in my account. Now, if I had leverage of 200 to 1 and I wanted to trade 100,000, all I would need is $500. And when you trade $100,000, every pip is worth 10 bucks. And when you trade $10,000, every pip is worth $1. Okay, so you guys can go ahead and pause the video and just remember this. Okay. And I'll just explain a little bit further what I mean by this. So here, when I enter 1.00 in the volume, that means I'm looking to trade $100,000. And so with $100,000, every one pip the pair moves, it's equal to $10. So for example, if we take a look at Aussie USD on a 1 hour, and you can see exactly where I entered the trade, where I entered, I sold 200,000, so I sold 2 standard lots. And I'll just go down to a 1 minute so you can see. So right now the price is 75,097. The last decimal place is sort of it's a fraction of a pip. Okay, or it's like a pipette. Okay. So the last decimal place is not a pip. So but when it goes from 0.7509 to 0.7510, and in this case it's 0.7511, that's equal to $20. With this trade here, because the volume is 2.00, every pip is equal to $20. So you can see on the profit here that right now the price is 0.7508, and once this moves, just watch the profits down below. So 0.7508. Okay, we're not getting much action this morning. I do apologize. There we go. So you guys can see that, you know, my profit went up quite a bit within. This is on a 1 minute chart. Okay, and I'm making profit as this pair continues to sell off. And that's because if I just go back to the 1 hour chart, I sold $200,000. Okay. Now let me explain margin, and I'll just pull up the diagram again. So if I wanted to trade $100,000 with 200 to 1 leverage, I would need $500. And to see with this account here that I'm trading, it is a 200 to 1 leverage account. So down below you can see that I'm actually trading 400,000. So here's 100,000, another 100,000, and then a 200,000. So I'm trading 400,000. And my margin is just under 4,000. Sorry, so I'm actually trading 100 to 1. So the leverage on this account is 100 to 1. Because the margin is almost 4,000, And so each of these trades, so this one was about 100. This one required $1,000 because it's a 100 to 1. Again, I'll pull up the diagram so you can see. So a 50 to 1, I would need 2,000. On a 100 to 1, which is what my account is, I would only need 1,000. Okay, for a $100,000 position. Okay, so I can't keep trading as many $100,000 positions as I like because this is my free margin here. This is the amount of margin that I have available to continue to play with. So I'll just give you an example here. If I wanted to, say I wanted to buy USD CAD, just go to new order. Make sure USD CAD is selected in the symbols list. And so I want to trade 100,000 and just watch my free margin below. So I'll buy this and you see it just required $1,000 from my account. So it didn't cost 1,000. It just placed that 1,000 in the margin category. So now my free margin is only 800 and so on. Now, depending on the broker, if your free margin starts to fall below 0, that's what's called margin call. And if you ever enter a margin call, the broker has the right to automatically close all of your positions without your permission. So that sums up for this lecture. If anyone is interested in viewing that leverage diagram, I've inserted it in the external resources section in the lecture. So now just before I go, I'm just going to close these positions. Lock in some profit. And so now you see we have $5,577, and this account was just at 5,000 just within the last 16 hours ago.